Which, by the way,
Yeah.
little inside baseball here. Somebody from Flock reached out to a good friend of mine this week. You hear about this, Joey Deef?
No, I didn't. You didn't fill me in.
Yeah, so they were upset. They were not happy with my coverage of their beloved camera company. I'm going to keep their name out of it. Obviously, I wouldn't do that to this person. But they were talking a big game. Oh man, he's got this all wrong. We're just here trying to protect and serve, and a lot of bullshit. And obviously, I have been very harsh, and I will continue to be harsh because unlike the people at Flock, I have kind of studied why the Revolutionary War was fought, and then what we did in the aftermath in creating the Constitution, which wasn't a perfect document, but it was a really fucking good one that went through specific situations just like this. They thought about this 250 years ago, to talk about the whole, not letting a tyrannical government invade your life and do all these things that are, I would say, pretty not good, right, Joey Deef? That's fair to say.
No, I can get behind that. Not good. Not good, common, but bad.
And that's the thing. I have two modes on this show now, and this is really important to say. I've kind of explained this before, but let me be really clear because this is a great example. When I'm doing my guest episodes, of which we're doing 2-3 hour episodes every week, with the way we're booking people, we're going to be moving that up to 3 at some point here if I can keep up with the capacity. But when I do those, it requires less of me expressing opinion on things. When I do these episodes on the weekends, we happen to cover some really big stories where, the public sentiment, we're speaking a lot of what you guys are thinking. So, for example, Jeffrey Epstein raping kids. Pretty safe to say all you guys out there don't support that. So, obviously, we don't support that either because we have common sense and we cover it and everyone can agree with that.
Point.
When we're covering things like, another potential endless war in the Middle East, also pretty safe to say we got pretty good polling on our sides that many of you out there disagree with that whole thing and having more of our guys go over there to die, probably for another country. So we talk about that too. I've expressed these lines in the sand before in episodes, but I'm just repeating for clarification right here. When we're talking about people putting cameras all over the fucking country so that they can watch where we take a shit and measure the microbiomes in there so that they can fuck us later on a DNA test for nothing when we did nothing wrong just because they feel like being a fucking overlord like it's 1984. Yeah, I'm going to talk out against that. And I'm not just going to keep it to one company, Flock. They're the soup du jour at the moment, but there are other companies here underneath the surface there that are looking to get in and take that marketplace. And when they start to do that, as we've already seen some potential ripples in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be calling that out too. So, yeah, I look at things, and when I'm expressing these opinions, it's on stuff that the ball is already really there. That said, this is where it's going to come out because it is literally Joey Deef and I just reacting to the news just like all you guys do. So I want to put that out there. And yes, as I said, I've been very harsh on Flock with good reason. I have very good evidence to be harsh on them. Their CEO gives me the heebie-jeebies, as they say. This is a guy who, to say he can't read a room would be putting it lightly. I mean, he is, what's his name? Greg?
You know what? It's
who
funny.
cares?
I don't even,
who cares?
Give it space
Whatever.
in the brain.
Now, I did invite, after I shredded him for 8 minutes, I did invite Greg, I think it's Greg, on the show a few weeks ago.
Is it Craig or Greg?
Whatever. Pam or Pan. It's the same shit. 2 M's, 2 N. Who cares? But I did invite him on the show, which was kind of a joke at the end of the bit, but it was also serious in the sense that, of course, he could come on the show. But this person who reached out to a very close friend of mine was suggesting that he come on the show. And what I will say is that if he did want to do that, one of, if not the most common DMs I get on Instagram are many of you asking me what my favorite books are. Well, today's your lucky day, because if you use the link in my description below to join my newsletter, I'm going to give you my top 10 book recommendations right now. Also, if you'd like to join my clipping community for a chance to make money producing content from the show, you can do so via the Discord link in my description below. And finally, you can join my Patreon for early uncensored releases of the full episodes via the Patreon link in my description below. As always, please take 1 second to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Also, the like button's a big help, and you can join my newsletter via the link in the description. Can we actually get his name just to be sure? I actually, in this instance, should be very clear, rather than completely joking on it, because this is actually the serious part of it.
Wait.
What is it?
It's Garrett Langley.
Garrett Langley. All right, so it wasn't Craig or Greg. Garrett Langley. If, as this person who reached out to my friend suggested that he should come on the show, if he wanted to do that, I would do it. And here's how it would go. So that we'll just set the baseline right now. And to be clear, I've never talked to this guy before. I have no idea what the thought is there.
Set the baseline, though.
Yeah, that's just the idea that this friend of a friend reached out to try to say that I was talking bullshit. But if I did have Garrett on the show, obviously it wouldn't be in this context of me just hosting the show and him sitting here. It would be in the guest context. A couple things would happen. Number one, I would absolutely have Tommy G here with me. I think that would be amazing because Tommy G is the one who was man on the ground who really ripped this story open. He's a very close friend of mine.
Good idea.
An amazing guy, too. Someone who is as genuine as they come. Someone who I have witnessed over the years now sit down or talk with people who he has serious reservations about and be nothing but respectful, fair, and kind, even when he presses them. We've talked about the Adam Smith interview he did right in this seat on Zoom when he was at the apartment last time. So that I would definitely have Tommy G here. I think that would just be an amazing kind of conversation. And to be clear, I'm not going to let Garrett come in here and just like spew the Bible of fucking flock and get no pushback or anything like that. We're going to be pushing back the whole fucking time because obviously it's very clear where my stance is on this stuff. But he'd get a fair hearing. And I'd want to know more about what his backstory is and kind of how he got to this point, how he sees the world. And see if there were a way, not necessarily on the cameras themselves, but a way that we could find some common ground about things that need to be considered moving forward, which, to be clear, Joey Deef, in my book, that might be like, yo, you need to find a different idea here. This company ain't it. I'm just being honest about that. I really don't like this. And if we have time to get to that today, there's just much more stuff this week about the technology and the implications of how far this is stretching, things they've talked about internally that have been leaked that are straight up dystopian. And like, I'm never, ever going to sit here and be like, I might be missing some there. You could have a point.
No point.
You don't have a point in that case. It's like other people have said this on my show. And then most recently, Baron Coleman said this. Mm-hmm. He's like, we live in a country where the idea is it's supposed to be it is worse to have one innocent man in prison than it is 100 guilty men on the street. Does that make the world perfect? Does it make it nice? No. But that's how you ensure you don't get tyrannical government. You put the government to the test, and I completely agree on that. Brian McMonagle, back in episode 115, famously said, I believe, like the same thing. And, Brian McMonagle is one of the most legendary defense attorneys to ever live. Represented a lot of different people. But, I just think that's so important. So if that conversation would happen, and I have no reason to think it would, but if it did, as this person from Flock who reached out to suggest, we would do it in good faith, we would do it fairly, and we wouldn't just be fucking yelling at him the whole time. I'd want to hear what he has to say, and he would absolutely get pushback. So that I want to make that clear. And guys like that, in my experience, they don't like going on platforms where it's not all preconceived and they don't know exactly what they're getting, especially if they're not exactly an adept public communicator or room reader, as Garrett appears to not be. But if we get to some more of that today, if we don't get to some more of that today, we will get to that next week. There's just a bunch of new information on that. But I do want to start off with, actually, I almost forgot this. A little something went under the radar. Before I get to Dario Amodei's wife and her apparent wooing of one Jeffrey Epstein back in 2011. Remember when we talked about the Leon Black testimony, Deef?
Yes.
In June?
Yes.
So he came in, I believe he testified on a Friday?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah.
We can double check that. I haven't thought about that, but I'm pretty sure it was a Friday. Leon Black, the founder of Apollo Global, which is just balls deep in Jeffrey Epstein paws. He goes and testifies before Congress in a closed-door hearing in front of that committee headed by Kentucky's James Comer, and refuses to answer some questions, refuses to provide NDAs as it pertained to him and women who were from his orbit and Epstein's that he had signed said NDAs with. And so he was told by the committee at the time, and we reported on this, Joey Deef and I covered this, I remember this, that he needed to return on Thursday, July 16th, for now a videotape testimony. So now, which should have been the first time around, Joey Deef.
Oh, yeah. Well, they get these things screwed up sometimes.
They do.
We'll
they
give
do.
them some grace.
But you're a big tapes guy. You like tapes.
Love the tapes.
Yes.
Love the tapes.
You like video evidence.
VHS, the whole thing.
The whole thing. You're even like, you still put those like record, I don't even know what they're called, the cassette tapes in your car.
Oh, yeah.
Those aren't even
cassette.
Video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got dice hanging from the
He's got dice
rear view.
hanging.
Yeah.
Yep. They smell like they're from 1974 still.
They've been around a while.
Listen, he's an archaic individual, a man of culture.
Right.
I mean that in the best possible way. But Leon Black is called back at the time to testify July 16th on camera.
Yep.
Went really under the radar. That just
What do you mean?
That got pushed down the road, Joey Deef. Did you know about that?
The hearing did.
Uh-huh.
Didn't happen?
Yeah, didn't happen. They postponed it. Now, the story, I think I have the link at the... Oh, Deef's already got it up.
Well, the postponing, yes.
The postponing link, can you read the timestamp on when this was posted, Joey Deef?
Yeah, this was posted, if I had to read with my eyes, that would say July 14th, 2026.
Okay. So,
5:32 p.m.
A couple days before he's set to testify,
to go in there, yeah.
a quiet story from Politico comes out saying that it has been scheduled for September 3rd in front of the House Oversight lawmakers. So let me go up right there, Deef. Let me just read this, and I'm going to give some context. Billionaire investor Leon Black is scheduled for a September 3rd deposition in front of House Oversight lawmakers who want to press him under oath about his ties to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A spokesperson for House Oversight Republicans said Tuesday attorneys for the co-founder of Apollo Global Management had confirmed his appearance date. Black's legal team will also transfer at the end of next week, so this means this would have already happened by now. Non-disclosure agreements the investor allegedly had with women tied to Epstein, the spokesperson said, which he had previously told the committee he will not discuss. So this is interesting, Deef. He gives a little tit for tat there.
Right.
He's giving something up that he said he wasn't going to give up. But he gets it postponed for when he's going to do it. So if we go back down, let me just make sure I didn't miss this. So, yeah, that's just Comer commenting on it. Black at a June interview said he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes over the time frame he paid Epstein tens of millions of dollars, though he did acknowledge he was aware of his 2008 sex crime conviction. Just wasn't a big deal to him. He's like, well, she was 17. She didn't show ID. What are you going to do? That's just what, I'm just saying what he said.
No,
I don't agree with it.
He's like, I'm going to do biz.
He's like, I got to do biz. He lives like right down the street from me. I got to pass his house. Sometimes the New York Times is sitting out front and I got to drop it off at his door to say what's up. So when in Rome, right?
Yep. He says, Your Honor, I'm doing business with him, not her.
That's right. Went on East 71st Street. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so.
It's a shame.
Couple things. Can you just Google this? What day of the week is September 3rd, Joey Deef?
I already know what day of the week it is because it's the day before my damn birth.
Uh-huh. But just for the people out there, we want to get a live fact check just to be clear. So this is a Thursday. And you say, oh, okay, well, at least it's not a Friday. I want to note, this is a Thursday before Labor Day weekend. At the end, now Labor Day weekend falls a little late this year, so it's like an extension of August, the deadest news month of the year, the biggest vacation time of the year. When you look at this business back here, this is when I always look and over the last couple of years, I'll see that brand deals are less because they're not. They want to do the back to school stuff hard right after Labor Day, or they want to do it before and earlier August. It's a very dead time. And now you get the long weekend. Everyone's on the road. You're out there seeing your family. You're down the shore. If you're in the Midwest, you're at the lakes or in the Ozarks or whatever the fuck all those beautiful places are out there that I still got to go to. A lot of great stuff in the Midwest, Joey Deef.
Yeah, no, definitely great spot.
Yeah, I liked Milwaukee when I went out there with Tommy G.
We can go to the Ozarks. I got the plug there.
I think we got to do that. Maybe in the comments you can let me know where you guys go on Labor Day weekend. But, I need some ideas. But, he's going to go testify. And then by the next week,
That's it.
Little news cycle's gone.
That's it. Back to school.
Little news cycle's gone.
Amantara. Get your Amantara back to school.
That's right. But, it's funny because this was the other one. We talk about Fridays. We talk about deader months.
Mm-hmm.
July's, it's midsummer. People are traveling.
4th of July, yeah.
It's not like August. I'll give July that. July's got more relevance than August for sure in the news cycle. There's no doubt about that. Not for July 4th, but the rest of the month, things are operating a little closer to regular biz.
Biz is going.
But in Forbes, the day after Leon Black was supposed to testify, Friday, July 17th, they posted an article at 3:28 p.m. Very late. And in fact, you know why we missed this, Joey Deef?
Why?
Because we were going on air. This is right when we're capable of missing something because this is smack dab on Fridays when we usually film our weekend little, pure speculazione. But it says Leon Black says Epstein introduced him to Elon Musk. Again, this is from Allison Durkee at Forbes. Billionaire Leon Black claimed he socialized with Jeffrey Epstein because of his many high-powered connections, sex convictions aside, including Elon Musk, but never considered him a friend, according to a transcript released from his interview with the House Oversight Committee. This would have been the one back in June. All right, so go down. I'm just going to read the bullet points right here. I want you to hear how loaded these are. These are the key facts listed at the top of the article. So, we already covered that one. Black denied any wrongdoing or knowledge of Epstein's alleged abuse. Remember, he knows he was convicted, but he has no knowledge of his alleged abuse, including multiple allegations women have made against Black in connection with Epstein, telling lawmakers, quote, "I was not involved with and had no knowledge of any of Epstein's heinous conduct," unquote. That was definitely not a statement written and practiced in front of his lawyer. Written by and practiced in front of his lawyer, right? That's definitely how a normal human being talks, Joe.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. The billionaire testified he met Epstein through a mutual friend in the mid-1990s. And we talked about that in the previous episode where we covered this deeply, where he did that sit-down interview that was later transcribed into a big article back in 2022 or whatever. There's some evidence that he met Epstein before that. It's up in the air, though. So that's what he claims now on the record. So he has this on the record. They met him in the mid-1990s, and he would regularly see the financier because, quote, he enjoyed taking advantage of all the network of interesting people he knew, unquote, recounting how Epstein would regularly invite him to meet the other high-profile people in his orbit. Musk was among those that Epstein introduced Black to, he told lawmakers without elaborating. Also, now, how do you not get him to elaborate on that? The very next words out of my mouth would be, "Sir, can you please elaborate on that?" Like this is not hard. So they're going to get another shot on this September 3rd before people forget about it by Tuesday. But just keep that one in mind. So he said he told lawmakers without elaborating, also saying Epstein had introduced him to Bill Gates, more on him later, and Deepak Chopra. Black refused to characterize Epstein as his friend. A guy who manages all of his estate planning, is paid, tens of millions of dollars by Leon Black, whose house he goes and frequents, has breakfast at all the time, hangs out in his groups because he knows so many important people. Definitely not his friend, right? Like Joey Deef, that doesn't sound like a friend at all. That sounds like someone you hate.
It's an acquaintance. It's an acquaintance.
It's an acquaintance.
It's an acquaintance.
Oh, I like how you're thinking. That's why you're a great lawyer. So it's a formality. You're changing the context of the term to something slightly lesser.
We do business together. We meet people for lunch, but he's an acquaintance, Right. We don't talk about the ball games or the wife at home, I don't know this guy.
You don't know him at all.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
I know about the guy he fucked over to get that biz done for us.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right. He knows all about that.
We drank to that.
Oh, they drank
to it. Yep.
Cheers to it.
Personal stuff? No, I don't know the guy. He's not a friend of mine. He's an acquaintance.
Okay, well, Leon Black is due to now testify on video about his acquaintance, Jeffrey Epstein, according to his attorney, Joey Deef, is being referred to as his acquaintance.
Shit.
Shit, boy.
Shit, I did it again.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so we will be waiting for that with bated breath, and I predict, Joey Deef, that we will do our best here to not let that get lost in the news cycle. That's what I'll contend.
Yeah, we'll hold on to
guys.
that one for sure.
We'll hold on to that one. We'll make a note of that. So on our little corner of the internet, we'll do what we can, but it's going to require other people out there, many other people, to also be covering this as well. So stay tuned on that. But the soup du jour, I think I already used that once today. My bad. I got to come up with a better term. It's been a long week. But the story of the day is the Wall Street Journal bombshell about Dario Amodei's wife. So before I get into this fucking lady, oh my God, there's so much material here. There is so much going on with her timeline. When you look on jmail.world, which many of you out there already know this, but that is where there is a basic Gmail setup that is taking all of the government release files and making it as if you are logging into Jeffrey Epstein's Gmail. I will say on the chain, on the email chain, the main chain between Dario Amodei's wife, Cami Clark, and Jeffrey Epstein back in March 2011, some of the times are a little weird and like don't make sense, meaning there's an email that looks like it got responded to that went out at 6:04 p.m., but then the response says 5:23 p.m. on the same day, which would mean that one came before. But the Wall Street Journal, I'm going to take their reporting on it. When they had it on their article, as far as I could tell, the timing lined up with like they had it in the specific order and were reporting it as being in that order, which would make sense. But in today's episode of You Can't Possibly Make This Shit Up, but oh, that's right, yes, you can, because it's real. Cami Clark, let me just walk you through her life a little bit. She's born in Reno, Nevada. Never been, heard it's a nice place, right? Joey Deef doesn't seem too sold on that one.
No, it's a great spot.
Great spot, okay.
Nevada rocks, dude.
So anyway, born in Reno, Nevada. When she's 20, marries a 64-year-old casino guy.
As you do in the state of Nevada.
As you do in the state of Nevada. Maybe it was for love. Maybe it wasn't. They were divorced 3 years later. Do with that what you will.
Oh.
Ends up doing something. I don't even remember what it was. It's in this Wall Street Journal article. I'm just going off the noggin right here. To where she has to declare bankruptcy in 2009. Which, you know, that's not great. But it's very Nevada.
08, though. Hey, I get it.
It's after 08. It's also
it.
a very Nevada thing to do.
I get it.
You get a casino, you go a little bust. You get a little bankruptcy, you come back.
Yep.
And Cami, I guess, always was relying on her youthful looks and ability to get men to like her that could then help her rise into the world. Because when I look at her backstory here, the way that she talks with people, the way that she sells the things she's working on, and the circles that she gets herself into, this is one of the most prototypical, if you're looking at it 30,000 feet in the air, one of the most prototypical charlatans you'll ever see. Someone who just wants to get involved and be around money and power and then feel like they can inject their voice into those things to feel important and hopefully share in said money and power. So let's go to the article now.
Let's do it.
Deef. So Dario Amodei quietly married this woman in, I want to say, like 2021. He had been dating her since 2014. Didn't seem to talk about the wedding. In fact, she's been pretty much scrubbed from the internet ahead of this story coming out. When you would Google Dario Amodei wife, it would show actually a picture of him and his sister who works at the company with him. And on Wikipedia, I don't know if it's changed now today with this story, but his personal life would say he married in 2022, but not, or 2021, whatever it was, but not list her name or any details about her. Yet they had been dating for so long, and whenever, even though she doesn't have an official job at Anthropic, whenever he went around the world and was going to places, or whenever he went to give a big speech and stuff like that, she was always at his side. She was always viewed as a key advisor to him and someone who was like whispering in his ear and telling him what to do. And yeah, this story's going to end up at the World Economic Forum years ago. It's going to end up with fucking Eric Schmidt, the old CEO of Google. It's going to end up with Jeffrey Epstein. It's juicy. It's loaded. Like, who wrote this for Wall Street Journal?
This is
Keith Hagley and Luke Gerard Kummer.
Yeah.
Unfortunate name.
That's a Hagee and Kummer piece.
Okay. All right. Pause. But I'm sure when they came across this one, their eyes got really big because they're like, there's no way this is real. But again, yes, it's real. So let's go down.
Let's do it.
Let's start reading. So I already said that. So when he went to go visit with Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he was allowed to bring one guest and one person to sit in the meetings with him at this like summit, and he brought his wife. So she acts as a sounding board, strategic advisor for Amodei, according to people close to the company. She has also brought Anthropic a key early investor, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, whom she had dated.
Damn, son.
So she brought her ex to be the investor daddy of her.
She's cold-blooded.
Yeah, cold-blooded. Anyway, so the pair married in 2022. I mentioned that it was all like quiet and they didn't have anything. And Anthropic's AI chatbot Claude responds to queries by saying Dario Amodei's marital status doesn't seem to be clearly confirmed. They're like, get off my lawn, yo.
Damn.
Don't sit here. All right, so as Anthropic hurdles towards an IPO that could top $2 trillion, Clark is one of the most influential voices shaping the decision of a CEO. There's never been a situation where the CEO of like a major company has a wife who has no real actual knowledge of the product at hand and no official job at the company, but who is the key advisor. There's never been a situation where that goes wrong.
No, yeah,
Not
for
once.
sure.
Not once. Especially when she's
Especially
cucking
when the
you.
ex-hubby put
That's
the
right.
money down, too.
That's right. When she's cucking you with her ex in the company, can't possibly go wrong. So she made connections with powerful people, including Schmidt, whom she brought into Amodei's orbit. The billionaire left roles at Google and Parent Alphabet in 2020 and transitioned into investing into tech startups, yada, yada, yada. Go down. This is all the mythos stuff. So Clark, born in Reno, Nevada in 1979, was an entrepreneur and often interacted with the rich and powerful, as well as up-and-comers in Silicon Valley. The most important would turn out to be Amodei, whom she started dating in 2014, just previously beginning in 2011 and lasting for 3 years. She was in a relationship with Schmidt, who was an executive chairman of Google, and then I guess she probably aged out. I don't know. Anyway, pure spec. When they got together, Amodei was still an academic working as a postdoctoral scholar at Stanford University School of Medicine, having earned a PhD in computational neuroscience from Princeton. He would go on stints at Baidu and Google before joining OpenAI in 2016. So we'll go down all past this. She introduced people at OpenAI to other people as well. Go up a little bit there, Deef. So when he left OpenAI, Dario, back in 2020, he and his sister and 5 other employees then founded Anthropic. Anthropic in May 21 announced that it had raised $124 million for its Series A. So 5 months later, they get $124 million.
Not bad.
How do we get that?
Yeah, well, hey.
Man, 5 months? 5 months. What are we doing wrong? Anyway, led by Skype engineer John Tallon and including Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskowitz, Jane Street founder James McClave, and the Center for Emerging Risk Research, as well as Schmidt. That was a part of that 124. Clark, who wasn't yet married, wanted equity in the new company. She like, honey, I need my piece. That's a part of the prenup.
I need that.
According to documents reviewed by the Journal. In February 21, Clark pitched Schmidt on creating a new venture fund called the Mother of AGI Fund. Its goal was to be an elegant solution to formalize Cami's involvement in Anthropic and manage Eric's investment and invest in the AGI ecosystem, according to a 40-page proposal. Others at Anthropic, including Dario's own sister, problem, drama in the household, didn't support the plan, according to people familiar with the matter, and it didn't move forward. By the end of the year, associates said they recall seeing what looked like an engagement ring on Clark's hand, and not long afterwards, the couple wed in Italy. That's what she did. That's a classic move, Joey Deef. She tried to muscle into the company, get him on his back feet, have his sister, all his co-founders against it and shit, and be like, oh my God, he's a nerd. He outkicked his coverage here. He's like, oh my God, no, you can't have equity. And she goes, you know what, honey? You're right. I shouldn't have equity, but what we should do is we should get married. You should marry me.
She's like, if you don't marry me, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what's happening. It's either equity or marriage. You can't not have one.
Oh, no, that's not the... She's like, if you don't marry me, there's not gonna be a wedding to celebrate. There's gonna be a celebration of life instead. Pure spec. Maybe we'll edit that out. I don't know. Pure spec.
All right, so Anthropic drew the ire of the Trump administration earlier this year after Amodei refused to drop restrictions on how Claude could be used by the Pentagon. The government labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk, and Pentagon partners were effectively banned from using its technology in their work with the defense. Let's go down. Joey Deef with their Defense Department, a designation the company has challenged in court. And actually, as a side note, I don't know if there's like a lot more there and it's all a facade or whatever, but I did like that. I appreciated not giving all the way in to just fucking handing over these tools that we don't even know how to control yet at the behest of any government, regardless of who's in charge of it. But maybe there's more there. The administration added restrictions on additional AI models in June that were later dropped. The standoff brought unwelcome attention to the company ahead of its IPO. This is where it gets interesting. Clark has recently told people involved in politics that the company sees its mission as protecting America and isn't as, quote, woke as its detractors might think it is, according to people familiar with the matter. And in a case of all these people know each other and all these people just find a way to get in the circle and fuck. At the Sun Valley Conference in July, where she spent much of the week by her husband's side, she had lunch with Ivanka Trump, a friend, and chatted with Jared Kushner, whom Amodei had approached earlier in the year to invest. People familiar with the matter said. How many times do we got to give an optics class here?
I don't even know if we should say it anymore.
I don't even
it might
like.
just get boring if we keep saying it.
It's just from a PR perspective.
Yeah,
they just never figure it out.
Never stops.
So Clark's early years show a young woman. We're getting to Jeffrey Epstein here. We're just laying the groundwork, and then we're gonna have fun with these emails. Clark's early years show a young woman hustling to succeed at a range of businesses, many she founded, including a porn company targeting women.
Nice.
It's all about feminine freedom, I guess. In 1999, that's when she married that 64-year-old, and she was a dropout from architecture school, which is very closely related to technology, innovation, VC, and AI, Joey Deef. Mm-hmm. I can see exactly, the correlation with
entrepreneur.
Her. Yeah, absolutely. Property records show she moved to San Francisco in 1999, spent a decade there before spending time in New York and Los Angeles. In that period, she worked for a mortgage brokerage company. While raising money for a later venture, she would describe herself as the co-founder of LLG Financial Corp. The company's 2005 incorporation documents don't include her name. So she, on record, she'd be capping.
She's got a history of people screwing her out of equity.
That's right. Well, Or Joey Deef, she has a history of claiming she should have equity or lying about her fucking merits on a resume. I think
sounds
more
about
where
right.
I'm leaning here. A lender foreclosed on her San Francisco apartment in 2007, and 2 years later, she filed for bankruptcy, according to property records and court filing. Around 2010, she had a comeback, though. She and Michelle Capocephalo started Edis, which is described as, quote, a revolutionary porn company, unquote. And Joey Deef, if I were starting a revolutionary porn company, and to be clear, I'm not, but if I were, you know who I would name it after?
Who?
My grandmother. Named for Edis, I would not do that, to be clear. Named for Edis Munson, Clark's maternal grandmother, it aimed to emphasize sex positivity in a male-oriented porn industry and carried the tagline, this is the best. Intellectually promiscuous. So, Deef, imagine you just sitting there.
Yeah.
You're yanking and banking.
Okay.
I think that's what the kids on the internet are saying these days, right?
Gooning.
You're gooning.
I'm gooning.
You're gooning.
I'm gooning.
And you just realize that while you may be, promiscuous doing this on your own time, you're at least firing up your intellectual neurons. So that at the same time as you getting dopamine pleasure jerking off to some fucking poor girl who probably got sex trafficked to do that porn, even though they are.
Well, they are a revolutionary company.
They're revolutionary. They're claiming
they
they're
probably
not doing that.
vet and do all that.
Pure spec. Maybe they didn't do that. But either way, while you're doing that, you are at least getting more intellectual capacity. You're getting smarter. It's almost like you're going to college while you're beating off.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool,
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they sold it.
All right.
So it included a blog that gathered content with titles such as, quote, Lady Porn Day and Orgasm Inc.
Okay.
It also highlighted the work of intellectuals. You need that in an intellectually stimulating porn environment, such as pundit Clay Shirky and marketing expert and author Seth Godin. Ah, man, they hit Godin in here. Seth does some great work. Poor guy.
That's
got cited in
fine.
this way.
He's just a little horny, is all.
Well, I mean, he may not have known that they mentioned him.
Yeah,
maybe
he's a hero and he doesn't
I
even
didn't
know
want
it.
to put that on him.
Yeah,
At one point, after alerting readers that its PayPal account had been frozen, lot of freezing of assets, bankruptcies, failed companies. Is what do they say? Keep trying until you succeed.
Yeah, that's the game.
He's trying. Clark's company announced on its website that it was crowdsourcing funding.
Respect.
We are raising $350K to produce Edis.com and our first 4 films. American Girl in Paris.
Damn, a 4-parter right out the gate. That's a little ambitious. I could tell you as a filmmaker myself, to come out with a 4-part series
That's
right
a
out
lot.
the gates, that's a lot.
It's also where they filmed Taken.
Yeah, but Paris? Well, listen, the French, that could do pretty well in the French market. But a 4-part series, a little ambitious, guys.
Yeah.
Or gals.
In one of her pitches, part of which was reviewed by the Journal, Clark said her resume included real estate and entrepreneurial investments, as well as distribution and brand strategy consultant, interior design, architectural background. Let's just throw a lot of buzzwords at the page of anything I've ever looked at.
She's a polymath.
That's right. She's a polymath. She's like actually a modern day Ben Franklin.
Yeah, that's how all these...
He was a horn dog too.
All these... Well, I mean, listen, what did I say? All great men are perverts, but not all perverts are great men.
I'm gonna leave that one right there.
There's some sort of truth to that. I don't know.
God, you always hit us with the hard truth, Joey Deef. It's a hard truth. I don't know if that's true.
Nah, I don't know if that's true. It sounds like
it sounded
you'd be
like
yeah,
a
I
bar.
guess that's right.
It sounded like a bar for sure. But this is where they cross paths
Yeah.
with our longtime nemesis Jeffrey Epstein. And this is where I was reviewing these emails, which I also I know we'll put them up in a second, but I have them in front of me too.
That.
So Clark and Capocepalo attended the 2011 Digital Life Design Conference in Munich, a tech, media, science, and art salon that executives often stop by on their way to the World Economic Forum in Davos. So it's like, it's like a flyover, right? A little pit stop, you get a longer layover. Maybe it's at Heathrow. You go to the pub, you tie one back for like 10 hours. You meet some random fucking people that you're not going to remember. You get on the next flight, and when you land, you're like, how the fuck did I get here? That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
It's very innocent, Joey Deef. I don't know why you're looking at them so suspicious.
I'm just surprised they didn't have it in Berlin. It's more sex positive.
It is more sex positive. I've heard that. I've heard that.
Guys.
I don't know. Maybe people from Berlin can
wow.
check in on that one. Anyway, that year the keynote speech was given by Schmidt. This is right around the time she started dating him too. Then still CEO of Google. Little is publicly known about the 3-year relationship between Clark and Schmidt, who remains married to another woman. Schmidt was also an investor in one of Clark's startups, which focused on women's health, according to people familiar with the matter. She's all about empowering women. You gotta admire that,
Yeah, I respect it.
At the Munich conference, Clark and I'm never gonna say that right,
all right.
met with John Brockman, a literary agent of scientific books who introduced Epstein to academics and Silicon Valley elites, according to Epstein documents recently released by the Justice Department. Now, I want to take a little sidebar here.
Sidebar.
John Brockman is a guy we haven't talked about a ton on this show, and it deserves another look at some point. As he was described there correctly, he was this literary agent who represented all kinds of people, but he was the head of the Edge Foundation. And this is what sucks about the Edge Foundation. And this is what the Epstein network would do, dude. All they had to do is just get some association with you and they could taint you forever.
Yep.
But the Edge Foundation featured, I don't know if the site's still up, I haven't been on it in a while, but as of a couple years ago, it featured every fucking known scientist, as in anyone who's ever done anything of note. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but not that much. In the science field, whether it's physics, astronomy, you name it. Like, they're on it. They're on it. They're all in it. And this guy was connected to all of them. And I say that because he was a perfect dude to be like a pimp in this game, because he had the intellectual backing of an organization with enormous human capital and connections that went way beyond the scientist, by the way, to where he could be a kingmaker and someone who could introduce people to people. So he had social business trust of a lot of people. But all the while, he was boys with Jeffrey Epstein, throwing all these parties. That was actually the guy, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that Doug Rushkoff mentioned was running that party.
Brockman, yeah.
That he went to in like 98 or 99 that he later found out Epstein was attending.
I was going to say, too, with science, like with people that are doing research and your work always is coming down to grants, and it's literally the perfect storm. Same with like all the arts, like all the different artists that are caught up in this, too. Those fields, it's you're whoring yourself out.
Yes. And then even like, let's play it out this way. There's some people who then ended up being compromised and blackmailed, or obviously in some cases were even just straight up sick individuals who did pedophilia and shit like that. But it's bad apples poison the whole well, because then anyone, including people that maybe never actually went to a party of that type or whatever, who just happened to be listed on that foundation, similarly to how I've described how Epstein and Maxwell would just take a photo with people over the years, and now it's just there forever. This can taint them and like have to pull them in to being questioned about all these relationships. And by the way, fairly so. We've seen so many people that are like guilty of something, you know, in some cases, clearly the worst things that, like, of course, all of us in the general public are going to look at someone and be like, what the fuck, man? I mean, I'll say without naming names or whatever, like there are people when, again, we got to check if it's up, but on that Edge Foundation list, scientists who I know.
Yeah, well, that's why it's like you should have to answer. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you did nothing wrong. Like if I did nothing wrong, I'm one of these people. I would be like, dude,
you should talk about
who's got a mic?
Yeah,
you got a mic.
So I'm not saying those names right now, but if I have on, like, there's two guys I'm thinking of. If I have them on,
I'm
gonna ask them about it. And I think, knowing what I know now, especially, you have to do that. You have to do that. So stay tuned, because now that's percolating. I might have to do that. But as I said, at the Munich conference, this is where they met Brockman. Brockman introduced the women to Epstein that March 2011, writing that he was headed to a Wired magazine party where Brockman was the guest of honor. He told Epstein, quote, "You should connect for dinner with my girls, Cami and Michelle. They're in LA raising money for a porn movie aimed at the women's market." He then shared the website for editors. So I want to point this out. John Brockman, I believe, was also present. It's been a while, so maybe check me on this. I believe he was present for the December 2010 dinner that I think Peggy Siegel helped put together, that was like the welcome home party for Jeffrey Epstein from prison. This is a longtime friend of Epstein. He knew damn well what Epstein went to prison for. Jeffrey Epstein, at the time that he's writing that email to him about this fucking porn company, is a registered sex offender. And John Brockman has no hesitation saying, you should connect with these two girls. They were women, but either way, you know what I mean, who have this porn company, as if it's a business opportunity for them. Again, these are people that just play by a different set of rules. Am I right?
No, it's just, I was just thinking optics again.
It's crazy. So Brockman concluded the March 3rd email by noting a birthday party being thrown for him that Saturday, saying Clark and Capocepalo would be there. Clark followed up on the email soon after, writing to Epstein. So this is Cami Clark, Dario Amodei's now wife. "Hello, Jeffrey. We would love to have dinner with you this evening." She sent him her cell phone number. John Brockman didn't respond to requests for comments for the story, because of course he didn't. The next week, Clark sent Epstein an email with an attachment. "We thought you and the ladies might enjoy the script treatment for our first 4 films. American Girl in Paris. A little NSFW, not safe for workplace," she wrote. A year later, she reached back out to Epstein. At first, he didn't remember her. She replied that they had been introduced by Brockman a year earlier. We have the free luxury porn company. Does that ring a bell? And this is where I'm going with the Wall Street Journal's timeline of when these emails were sent. This is what I was referencing earlier, where when you look at Jmail, they're like kind of out of order, but the Wall Street Journal and their reporting and their review has put this in order, so we're going to go with this. All right, and if that's later proven incorrect, then there's something we're missing here, we will correct that. But this is what they got. So they say, she says to Epstein, we have the free luxury porn company. Does that ring a bell? Jeffrey Epstein replies, yes, a loud gong. It didn't just ring a bell. He fucking, I'm not even going to make a joke there. Yeah, Clark joked back, ha, I was going to say you would be the first person that didn't remember us. She then pitched him on investing in her company, saying that they had just hired someone from Oprah Winfrey's company and Ashton Kutcher's Catalyst, the media company behind the shows like Punk'd. Are you still interested? Epstein, then a registered sex offender, replied, can't do sex TV. So he, at some point in this conversation, this is added context because I have the emails in front of me. He also mentions to what appears to be Cami Clark that he's in the Caribbean until April. As you recall, I live here, but I'm willing to look at whatever you think viable. And then that's obviously where this comes up, and he says, I can't do sex TV. She goes, so that email where she said you'd be the first person who didn't remember us, she also said, at any rate, are you in NY? Would be great to catch up. I'm in San Francisco/LA till Wednesday, then back. And she's signing all these off as Cami Clark, so they are from her. Officially jealous, she says, officially jealous on the Caribbean front. We'll intro you to Jennifer Zuccarini via email. I personally, all caps, love what she did with Kiki DM. There is another girl who is starting a mid-price lingerie line with an interesting distribution model. We'll send you her things when she has them together, probably in the next week or so. So she's throwing them all the things related to women and their bodies. Staying on brand, I guess. Fair. Right? Staying on brand. So full steam ahead. This is another email. We just hired the head of programming and development from Oprah's network, and prior to that, Ashton's Catalyst. We're highly focused on creating amazing content, only the best, which landed us firmly in Hollywood, where things operate at a very different timetable. Are you still interested? We might be raising another round. And so this is where he had then said, like, can't do it because he's in. You know, it's a sex company. So she goes, I didn't think so, smiley face. Being a lingerie supporter is equally as good. We're also about to raise a round for a social dieting app and website geared towards women. Everything's about women. She got a lot of ideas for women. I don't think any of these came to fruition, but it was good enough that she's now like the key advisor for one of the key fucking AI companies on earth that's worth a couple trillion. Neither here nor there. We're also about to raise a round for a social dieting app and website geared towards women. It integrates the data from all of our health monitoring devices, Fitbit, Jawbone, Up, Body Media, Fitcore armband, Nike Fuel Band, Withing Scale, MC10's latest. Combined with user-inputted data about nutrition, users will be able to photograph food for portion size calculations, prescription and supplement regimen, menstrual cycle, and location via GPS, mood, etc. via push notifications. Not spying on you at all, obviously, like all these apps. In fairness,
I'm in.
Like all these apps do. Joey D loves getting spied.
It's like, I'm in.
Information is then aggregated to create rich data results and infographics of each user's patterns, habits, and lifestyle. Honey, I'm just telling you, this is already TLDR. Like this guy, Jeff, these rich people, they're like a 1 or 2 lines get the point across. You're at fucking line 8 right now. He has already dozed off, which, by the way, he never responded to this email. Snooze. Anyway, users can share this information or opt out with other users, Facebook style, to get examples and templates of what works for real women over a broad range of lifestyle. Diet management and weight loss services are massive but deeply fragmented markets. 61 billion sales in the US, $586 billion globally. Online sales are growing quickly and tremendous potential for mobile. Is that anything that you'd be interested in? That's like the fucking Entourage guy. Is that something you might be interested in?
Something you might be interested in.
Fucking Martin Landau. Dude,
so good.
That's effectively the end of the article, other than Epstein received an automated note from LinkedIn in 2013 that he should congratulate Clark for her new role as CEO of Female Algorithm Technologies. Traces of it online are scant, except for a Tumblr account with the edgy aesthetic that combined photos of nude women, a portrait of Steve Jobs with an early Mac, and all caps mottos like "Great minds fuck each other" using the full expletive and "Let's make lots of money." If I could say, and that's a great way that Keach Hagley ended this article. It's perfectly on brand. If I could summarize this girl's life, it is all about fucking her way to the top and trying to get rich quick and get around powerful people so that she can just snag off the fucking ends of it. And now, you know, she probably seduced this relatively nerdy guy and is cucking him with her ex and is caught up in these files after they tried to scrub her from the internet, which would suggest, pure spec here, Joey D, pure spec. But it would suggest that Dario Amodei, or whoever had that information scrubbed, and I would think he probably knew about that, considering how Claude answers these responses itself. It would suggest that they knew maybe the past wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
How many more of these are going to drop, dude? How many more people in this space? I think we missed something in that article, by the way. She was involved in all those effective altruism groups out in Silicon Valley, which is just chef's kiss. But like, how many more times are we going to see someone near, around, or in power in the structure today in 2026 who is caught up with the most notorious sex trafficker in modern history?
I think you could kind of think it's most of the new class, if you will.
The new class.
They were freshmen back then.
They were freshmen.
They're seniors now.
They're seniors. They're in charge.
You know?
Class president.
You see someone walking around high school, but you don't know exactly what grade they're in. But then once they're a senior, you know they're a senior. And you're like, oh, they're in that class.
They're in that class.
And they're all in that class. Or it seems that way. Pure spec.
Pure spec, but
yeah,
it's a loaded class.
They got some heavy hitters in that class.
They got heavy hitters, and the doors outside are locked. We tried to like just get in and like videotape it for you guys so you could find out what's happening. Security kicked us out.
They're rebelling. They're putting orange soda in the water fountains right now.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, Bill Gates' daughter, Phoebe, mentioned this out front. Big cookie stuffer. Can we pull up a picture of Phoebe's?
Yeah, let me get that.
Just, you know, lay down the visual here. This plot that she's now implicated in has charges that could be listed up to 20 years in prison, by the way. As Joey Deep said to me earlier off camera, I'm betting on the under there.
Yeah. Yeah, she ain't doing 20 years. I would have to do this 20.
Joey Deep's doing every bit of those 20
They might be
years.
like, you know what? Fuck it. 35.
You know what? Joey Deep is going to go stuff some cookies, pause.
That's right.
Later tonight, and they'll give him the 20 that they would give her, and he'll be the whipping boy. I remember that book.
That's exactly
in grade school. You're just a whipping boy.
That's it.
They're going to be like, all right, well, now that two people have committed the crime, bad girl, Phoebe, but Joey Deep will do the time for you.
Guess I'm doing a hard 20.
Hard 20.
Pose.
There. By the way, this is from Akash Gupta on Twitter. He laid out that cookie stuffing has already sent 2 men to federal prison. Sean Hogan made $28 million as eBay's #1 affiliate before the FBI raided his home. Brian Dunning, the #2, took in 5.2. Both pleaded guilty, so they pled it down to wire fraud. They didn't go to trial, and they were given, I believe it was like, Hogan got 5 months, Dunning got 15. Isn't that funny? How the leader who made more got 5 months and his #2 who made like 1/6 of what he made got fucking 15 months.
Isn't it funny how the girl who like founded this company's not going to do 20 years, but some schmuck's going to do like 9? Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's exactly
classic
right.
biz.
So as a review, what I mentioned at the outset of the episode, just so we're clear, is that this company FIA, which Phoebe founded with, what's her name, Keanu
Reeves.
Yeah, can we just get that girl's full name that she founded it with? I forget. But as a part of this Bloomberg investigation, that Bloomberg, shout out, did a great job
Sophia Keanu, sorry.
Sophia Keanu,
yes,
is the other one, and then it's Phoebe Gates. Okay. So Bloomberg did this great reporting, and also a long-time fraud researcher named Ben Edelman did his own reporting as well and was really on to this. But I'm going to oversimplify it because some of this gets like a little technical, but essentially their company FIA allows users to utilize coupons to get deals on the internet. They were putting cookies, which are those things you have to hit accept and reject to that none of us ever think about what the fuck it is. It's like a way of tracking people. They would use cookies illegally to follow people through their internet navigation, if you will, to then automatically get credit for sales that they did not drive. I am oversimplifying it, but that is effectively what they did. And that is what we laid out in Bloomberg's initial reporting, which was back in July. At the time that Bloomberg reported it, the company, FIA, went, oh my God, no, oh my God. And they went in, they're like, no, we didn't do this. Oh my God, there's some cookie stuffing going on. We had no idea.
Yep.
Not a clue. And I know you and I bought that.
Completely. Yeah. They're like, we just found out yesterday, like, holy shit.
And they turned it off.
Oh.
They turned it right off. They
Respect.
They were so blown away.
I respect
and
that.
They went to Bloomberg and they said, thank you. Thank you for looking out for our customers who we would never, ever hurt. No. We would never, ever try to skim money off the top of. Thank you for pointing this out. You have made our company a better place. But Bloomberg wasn't done there. And apparently neither was Edelman. So again, shout out to both of them. And they decided to go in and take a deeper look and make some calls.
That's not good.
You know what they did, Joey Deef?
Who'd they call?
You know what they did?
What'd they do?
They did a little door knocking.
Oh, they were just like
old school on the ground Columbo type investigating. And they went inside this company.
One eye looking this way and that way.
Exactly. That's 100%. You got the old lady looking through the window going, oh my God, what's happening? Because she lives for the neighborhood gossip and she just sees them on the doorstep saying, we got to talk.
Yeah.
Right? Don't know what they're talking about. But I believe, can we check this, Steve? They raised like $35 million in funding.
Yeah,
was that right?
So. I believe so.
It was tens of millions of dollars. They raised it from people like Hailey Bieber. I think a Kardashian gave them some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely no one who's in any way a connection that she was able to meet through her father, because obviously Phoebe's out there finding good money herself completely. But yeah, so they raised all this money and Bloomberg was saying they were doing this cookie stuffing thing. They say, oh my God, we weren't doing it. So once they turned off the cookie stuffing because they couldn't believe it was even on, they had no idea about it, Bloomberg was able to continue to investigate and see that their revenues immediately came down. Something from like $80,000 a month on this to in the neighborhood of $10,000. It is in this article from Bloomberg. If you type in 80,000, find next.
Yeah.
So I can get it right. I want to make sure I have the figures that they got. So after FIA disabled the features in early July, average daily revenue at the company dropped from about $80,000 a day to between $10,000 and $28,000, the chart shows. A Slack message posted by a FIA data scientist on July 7th and reviewed by Bloomberg estimated the cookie stuffing accounted for about 51% of the merchandise value FIA claimed credit for selling in June. So more than half of their company's revenue was coming from, what do we call this, Joey Deef?
Scam, fraud.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Lazy fraud.
Fraud, for sure.
As our friend Matt Cox would say, this is sloppy fraud.
Well, look she's 23 years old. That is some classic, immature, childish fraud.
She just didn't know.
Now you might have to learn a lesson. But you won't.
She won't because Joey Deef has already signed on to be her attorney.
Hey, well, pay me some of that FIA money.
Joey, that's right. Joey Deef's gonna get some of the revenue.
Come on now, turn the stuff back on.
If
you're gonna pay for my retainer,
if the cookie don't fit, you must have quit.
That's right.
He's already got it ready to go.
I'm gonna need you to turn that back on because I got a retainer to get.
That's right. He make sure just as long as he gets his retainer, we'll forgive the fraud.
Yeah,
And
then I'll just blow the case. She'll get 30 years.
That's right. Joey Deef's got to raise some money. in the influencer world out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aesthetic things that he's working on in his life, buying a mansion with money he can't afford, and this is how he's going to get it.
Yeah. Help me out or I'm doomed. You know?
Doomed.
Doomed.
Anyway, so their revenue split in more than half after this occurs. And what I meant by Bloomberg going and knock on some doors is they went to employees, engineers, it sounds like, sources within the company, and they were able to get access to Slack texts that date all the way back to December.
Damn.
And in the words of pretty much every legal textbook that I've been told about, I didn't go to law school, maybe my lawyers can help me out here, this is where you find the quote-unquote smoking gun. I don't even know if that's in legal textbooks, but we use it in popular parlance.
Yeah,
so
but
forgive me if I'm wrong. Either way, you get the point. It is made very clear in Slack messages that Bloomberg was able to review and verify that they also, if you scroll all the way down, Joey Deef, they recreate at the very bottom. Go all the way down to the bottom of the article. Keep going, past the cookie stuffing. Keep going right there. They recreate these different conversations from December 2025 where Phoebe and her co-founder Kiani, that's how you say it, right?
Yep. Sophia Kiani.
Are going back and forth with engineers where they are I read through these and it's a little bit technical, but I read through them a couple different times and I'd like all of you guys to read through this as well for yourself to see, what your takeaway was, which by the way, this is one of those you can archive.is and see if it comes up because it's Bloomberg, which is, another service. So we Mike Benz this and we were able to see it. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.